Alright y'all, so that was an official wrap to pre-production. So now I'm about to go into post-editing, put on some regular clothes so my family can start looking at me crazy, and let's get it. This has been the first time I have ever filmed my editing process, so it's really interesting. Let's get it. So the first thing I like to do when I'm recording a music video is I like to go and just put a black screen down. Just kind of as a basic to work with. So I know I want this video to be about a minute long. I just want it to be a short little cute little video for Instagram, kind of promoting like kind of a new artist. So let's see. So I'm gonna go into my footage now and oh wait, sorry, skip a step. So I'm actually gonna lay down the song. I'm actually going to shrink this for a second so I can open Finder and bring the song in. I hope screen recording does not make my computer lag. So I just got bought the song off iTunes, bought the album. And now we have a bunch of footage to play with. So since first we're kind of laying down footage, what I like to do is take every scene that I recorded and I like to actually just lay it all down, so put all of it down and then skim through whatever footage that I actually want to use for that part. So that just means I'm taking all the footage that I have and putting it onto the timeline. So let's start with this one. So this scene, since I was like supposed to be a puppet and all tied up, I didn't start it at the beginning, so I have to find where I started it. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Alright, so let's drag that part here, and now we have to do the fun part of syncing them and making sure they match. Yay. So it's still a little bit off. So I like to drag it forward a little bit to see maybe if that makes it closer, or backwards a little bit. No, that was way too much echo. So it looks a little too slow. Alright, so I'm going to take it off of Snap 2 by pressing N and see. There we go. I don't have that like echo anymore. So now I can take the audio off of this clip or turn it down. Now I'm going to do the same process for every clip. Drag it to the timeline, see where it starts in the song, and then put it on there, and then we'll come back when we got that. Alright, so I have the regular scenes chopped up, good to go where they're supposed to be. So what I do with the cloning scenes is I actually take them and I do them in a different project, and then I compound them, make them into a compound clip, which basically morphs them together, and then put them in this. If not, it's gonna be way too much going on in the timeline. So let's get cloning. I've learned, and there goes my lighting, which is cool. You know, we can work with this soft light in the back. So let's do clone scene 1, and for that I'm just starting a new project. Alright, so I'm gonna go into my new clone project that I just created inside the same area. And so the first clone scene, I'm just cloning myself 3 times, and the next clone scene, I've cloned myself several times. It's probably the most I've ever cloned myself in my life, so it shall be interesting. So here's what we're gonna do. Same thing like before, I'm just gonna start with like black screen there, and then I'm gonna take this song. There's the song, here we go. Put that baby in here. And right now I'm just editing about 1 minute and 30 seconds of the song. So same here. Okay. So I'm gonna use my blade, chop this up. Y'all, I use a lot of keyboard shortcuts, so if you can just like pay attention to what I'm doing with the cursor, then that can kind of show you in a way. So basically I'm about to do the same thing that I did before, you guys. So I'm about to lay out every shot on top of each other and match it with the music, so you guys don't necessarily need to see that because you saw it. You battle mine. Okay guys, so I got all the clips on top of each other Alright y'all, so I got all the clips together that I need, and now we're going to go to alright, so now you want to go to your little thing, your effects panel, and we're gonna look for draw mask. And so I want to apply draw mask to the top clip here, and now I'm gonna zoom out to about 50, and I'm going to now draw over this area right here where this clone is. So this first clone is at this window, and bam. So since I just drew the mask, it just erased everything else that I didn't draw over, and now shows my second clone. So now I'm gonna do the same thing, apply that draw mask here to my second clone right in her spot. And we're gonna make sure everything's covered, and bam, now there's my third clone. So, and now I'm gonna open my inspector window here so we can kind of play around with this a little bit. I'm gonna feather it a little bit to see if we can get a better blend. Looks good to me. Let's just feather this one for the heck of it. Cool. So, now I just like to play them. Obviously they won't start at this scene. It's that easy. I always love like cloning it because it feels so crazy when I do it before having a clone. So I'm gonna go ahead and just like blade, just chop up all these and erase the parts that I don't need. Thank you for coming, goodbye. And cool, so this is the first cloning scene. Beautiful. So now I'm going to highlight over all of this, right click, and we're gonna do a new compound clip. And so we can just clone one clip, sounds good to me. And so now it's all in one timeline, but if you double click it, then you can go back and edit it like it's not in one timeline. So that's what I love about compound clips. And now I'm going to do the same exact thing to the other cloning scene. It's going to be a little bit different, so I'll just record the parts where I do kind of tweak it a little bit more because these clones are going to overlap each other. Alright y'all, so now I'm about to do this scene with a bunch of clones. So let me see how many exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm about to do a scene with 8 clones. This should be interesting. So let's start at the top. So how this is going to work, we need to close this because we're going to have to get very detailed. How y'all saw in the last one, I was able to, you know, just kind of circle the general area because I tried to stay in a certain area. This one, I'm going to have to really circle like a more specific area, which in this one was supposed to be the chair, so hopefully I listened to myself and I stayed within the chair. So we're gonna draw mask, and let's get to my general positioning right here, and now we're gonna draw pretty much right over homegirl here. Shrink this a little bit so I can just get the front of her, and bam. Here appears our second person. So now I'm going to kind of be very detailed with all of them, and then we'll see where the little tweaks need to be made. So for this next part, I already know that my computer's going to freeze, so I'm going to try and film the screen with my camera. This shot, for example, there's this movement where they look up, and obviously things have changed from where I chopped them up here to where they look up. So first I'm going to go ahead and start with everyone's first frame and make sure it looks good to go. So that one looks good to go, great. This one, let's clean it up a little bit right here. Alright, so now we have to follow each person's movements. So with this hat, she makes a movement to here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this clip again, and right here in the draw mask, I'm going to go to transform, and I'm going to click on these little star icons that pop up on position, rotation, and scale, and control points. So what this is going to do is now when I go to a certain scene, so if I go here and I move my point, so now the hat isn't covering up here anymore, so I can kind of change this up a bit, bring this down, bring this one up. Bam. So what's gonna happen now is the points are gonna move. They're gonna be where I put them here, and then as she looks up, it's kind of lagging a bit, but they're gonna move. So this one actually moved a little too slow, as you can see. So what you can do is let's go to a clip sort of while she's tilting up, and then move it, kind of handheld move it, just so you can help Final Cut determine the speed that this action is happening. So you could like really get very specific with this, take your time, do what you gotta do. I'm just the kind of person who's just not gonna use the parts that don't look real, because I have so much other footage. My computer was moving really slow when I was trying to show y'all the editing process, so I decided to just go ahead and edit it and then break it down for you guys. So we ended at the scene where I was cloning myself a bunch of times. I showed you guys how to kind of perfect that movement since there's so much movement going on in that scene. So now I'm just going to show you guys kind of the finishing touches that I added to the edit, and yeah, let's get camera recording. Alright y'all, so what we're looking at here is the finished product. So as you can see, it doesn't look like a crazy amount because I made that into a compound clip, kind of like I did that first cloning clip. So let's go ahead, double click this baby and see what craziness is going on. So as you guys know, I matched all the clips, basically stacked them on top of each other. And then from there, once you guys have the music synced together, you have the clips matched up, then it's really what I consider to be the fun part. So from there, you get to decide what clips you want to use for each scene. So in the beginning, of course, I added some establishing shots. So when I went out and shot, I saw different things in the house and the area I was shooting that I wanted to kind of be in the beginning to establish the setting that this video was taking place. And then I added my text over that. So this one I kind of just use simple. I usually try to be really simple with like a Helvetica or the dot font, and I just put Cash Production, music by Isla, just to give credit to the actual artist. And I took some shots in the backyard. And then I did this thing, which I think is pretty kill. So I created a graphic that looks like the graphic that you see on screen. And what I did was I recorded a scene of this just white board on this like easel that I have, and I recorded me walking past it. So as you can see in this scene specifically, I'm walking in front of it. So I actually used the masking effect once again, so I put this scene down. So basically all I did was I took the scene with the poster, I used my draw mask tool and precisely cut out that space where the poster is going to be, and then I just dragged that layer underneath. So if you're familiar with like Photoshop or anything, it's just like that layering. So from there, I went into my control tools with this poster scene, and I used the distort tool. So you'll see like transform, crop. I used distort, so I clicked this little icon and it gave me the option to distort it. So that's why it's at the same exact angle that the poster was, because at first it was just a graphic that I made on Photoshop, so it was flat. So I changed the angle. One thing, if I could go back and fix this, I would make it a little dimmer. So I would actually go into my color correction and I would bring down the exposure, because you can kind of tell it's a little brighter than everything. So I'll especially bring down like the highlights, just try to match it to the frame as much as possible. And then probably cut down a little bit on saturation too. So, you know, just try to get it close to the frame so that when you do go into color correcting, it's seamless. And then in order to get this person to walk in front of it, I put that little part of the clip of the person walking in front of it right on top right here. And with that part, I masked it once again. So I just masked it, but I used the moving option. So I pressed the control points and the transform control points. And so as this person moves, they're on top of that layer. So it's really a bunch of layering and a bunch of masking. Cool, great. So from there, I right click, made a compound clip, so it's all molded together. And so now any change I make will happen to everything. So I don't have to go in and add stuff to each individual clip. So there's some effects that I know I wanted to be on everything. I wanted it to kind of have like a Super 8 kind of vintagey look. So I went in and I added some So this is kind of how it came out in the end, and then I went in and I added some grain to it. So grain obviously gives it more of that vintage old school look. And then I decided to add a frame, which I thought looked pretty cool. I usually am not really much of a frame person, but I kind of liked how it looked for this, so I kept the frame. And then I added some Super 8. So once I finished that, I just go ahead, export it out of Final Cut. I usually just export it to my desktop, and then I can close out of Final Cut. And then the last touch I always add is my color correction. So if you don't know, I color correct inside of Lightroom. Screenshot a scene, so like a scene like this would actually be perfect. So I usually screenshot a scene that is pretty well lit. So I went to library right here from my desktop, dragged the screenshot and the finished video into Lightroom. And then once I have the screenshot, I go into develop here. And then inside develop is where you can kind of tweak the photo like you're editing a regular photo. I also overlaid LUT on there, so I really like the SP5, which is supposed to kind of reflect more of like a visco looking filter, so that was my vintage look. And then once you have it where you like it, you just hold command if you're using an Apple computer, and then select your video, and you're going to select sync. And what sync is going to do is add the effects that it can that you added to that picture over to your video. Now you can never see your video in develop mode, that's why you have to edit a screenshot of your video rather than editing the actual video. But if you go into your library, you can now go into the video and just kind of skim through it. But then right here you do have some controls where you can change around the exposure and the vibrance, which kind of helps a lot. So from there I just file export, and it's going to export that file for me, and then I'm done. So I hope this tutorial was kind of helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys learned something new. I hope you're inspired to create, and make sure to subscribe because I'm dropping content all quarantine, baby.